first one is meeting the user needs. So what needs will be uh, uh, what are the expectations of the users for this particular application. That is important in order to design for the entire application. So the term user experience itself is clear for us that it means that users are the uh, center, like the design should be user centric, because the users are the end people who will be using our app. So we need to design according to their needs. It should meet their requirements, whatever the user is expecting. How can we do that? By the way of user testing and other methods, something like A/B testing. We'll give them two variations of a particular product. uh, I want to understand, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah, yeah. And if you have any doubts in between, you can pause and ask, okay? So here in user testing, we'll be able to identify whether our design is matching the expectations of the users. And it is also not advisable to create a design by assumptions without understanding the user's uh, feeling, or what pain points they are expecting, like what pain points they are experiencing. So here we should not go by assumptions, we should go by what actually users want. The second principle in UX design is we need to know where we are in the design process. So as aspiring UI UX designers, we might think the design process is very complex. So there is a lot of work that goes through, and without knowing the place where we are in, then might be difficult to uh, go through the next phase in the design. So uh, there are different UX tools, like what is the process in UX design. And in order to get done with the research work, first we need to do the design phase correctly. Like we need to ask the questions to the users correctly. In the user interview also, we need to ask the questions whatever is needed in order to complete that application. Only by then we'll get the correct data, and with that data we can proceed with the design phase. So in the design, first we'll be ideating, like brainstorming with other designers, or we'll have to uh, brainstorm some of the ways in which how we can design that application. After brainstorming, we can move to the concept validation, and we can propose 2 3 approaches how we are going to take the design direction, how we are going to proceed with the design for this particular application. By that approach, if one gets finalized with the stakeholder or the client, if he likes that particular approach, then we can take that approach, refine it more clearly, and then we can test it with the users. That is known as usability testing, if it is matching the needs of the user. So whatever design we are doing should be user centric. And here we also have to work on the sketches, that is a rough sketch, like in paper pen you can do the wireframes. And why wireframes? Why? Because it is easy to quickly ideate whatever thoughts we have in paper pen rather than sketching it in the uh, software or tool. So your ideas can flow naturally through wireframes. And with the wireframes are usually done by UX designers, and then we'll proceed with the UI, that is visuals, that will be high fidelity designs. And after that we can prototype, like from the screen what comes next. We'll be prototyping according to the user flow that we have created in the early stages during ideation. And after that comes the design, like the final design. So here we need to understand where we are in the design process. So if we are trying to test the color of a button without understanding where that particular CTA button has to be placed in the design, then there is no point. So we need to first understand if the button is required in this page. For example, we are in the cart page. So in the cart page, is the CTA important? Yes. So only then the user can proceed with the payment. So we have to have a CTA to make payment. So after deciding that there should be a CTA, there should be a button, then we'll choose the color of the payment button. So first we need to identify if it's required in this particular page. So what are the things that will be required in a particular page, and how we can do is the design process, which will be talking in the upcoming slides. So here we need to have a clear hierarchy. So what most of the designers would do is they'll just take the design process for granted, like they'll work on it for namesake, but they'll focus more on they'll give their 90% on the wireframes and high fidelity designs, but it is not actually the work how we need to do. We should first focus on the process, that is uh, the initial phases of the design. Like first will be discovered, first we need to understand the problem, and after understanding the problem we need to define. So in the define phase comes some of the things, like for whom are we designing this app for, and what are their end goals, are we meeting their requirements. After that we'll work on the competitor analysis, information architecture. So this is information architecture, like what comes after what. We need to structure the hierarchy. Why are we structuring this hierarchy is because we need to have a smooth navigation for the users. The users should be able to understand how this particular application works. So first comes the hierarchy that is associated with how content or information is organized throughout the design. So here the content is organized. So we are grouping the things. This is a website navigation. If you see some website, there will be the top navigation bar, in which on the home page there will be these different navigations. Within that particular navigation, if you hover on this blog, you can see the nested menu, which will be video tutorials and lifestyle posts. You can't have video tutorials and lifestyle post in about, because it is not relevant to that particular category. So how we are grouping the things also matters. What should come under which is important. So this is the example. So you are opening a website or an application. The first thing that will we can note is the navigation bar, that will include the main sections. Within that, if you hover or click, you can view the subcategories. So even in that, there will be nested menus in some cases. So these are the secondary menus, and these will be the primary menus. In the fourth principle is keeping the design consistent. So here consistent in the sense it should be familiar for the users. If there is a back button in the mobile application, then the back button has to be placed in the top left corner, because that is the familiarity concept as per the people's mindset. So if you are trying to make your design something different from what the people have done earlier, then it may not be familiar for the new users, so it might make them feel more uncomfortable. I'll give you an example of uh, this. So here, consistency in terms of UX writing. So this copy, if you see new account, before we proceed we need to verify that you aren't a software application that performs automated tasks. So here it feels like it is not professional, it is not like what the users uh, would like to read. But if you see this copy, it uh, it guides us, it guides us to set up our new account. So this is how the UX copy has to be. This is in terms of UX design. So if you see, keep it consistent. In UI design, it means the button size. Sometimes there would be the bottom navigation bar in which few of the icons might be outlined icons and others might be filled icons, like completely filled icons. So that creates inconsistency, and it will lead to frustration in the users. So here the continuation of consistency in UX design. Here what the users expect is the products that share some similarities with what the other products that they are using. If you see, there is a fab icon. This is in Google Docs and this is in Twitter. Both are uh, in both the applications, the fab icon is present. How the users can understand the functionality of this particular icon? Because they are familiar with using this kind of icon. So floating action button, this is called as, and it is common as they are seeing in day to day life, day to day usage of the applications. And here if we see, we need to understand accessibility. Since the first point that I told is we need to design for the users are centric. So we need to consider all the users, even for the users who are with disabilities, like even if they are color blinded, so it should also be accessible for them. So keeping all the users in mind and majorly the target audience in mind, we need to design for them. So a designer's role is to ensure that we are designing the product usable and user friendly for as many people as possible, like the target audience who are uh, bounded in this particular application. So it should be accessible by all the people. So here in this example, they are using the contrast colors for each and every text in the background. Why? Because this can help the visually impaired users. Sometimes there might be users in low light settings, right? So it can help them, so they can read the content on the screen. Context. So here when we design, we need to also understand, and we should be able to relate with the user's context. So where they are from, are they someone who goes frequently out, or are they someone who sits idly in the desk? So what kind of user they are, from what background they are, in what emotional state are they currently in, and what kind of device they are using, who are the people who will be influencing them. So by understanding these kind of factors, we can clearly understand the kind of behavior which the user will have. Once we get that idea, we can generate the design that might maximize the user experience, and we can also adapt to their mindset. Like they might love our applications, so in return what happens, the ROI also increases. uh, for example, what is the example given is, the emotional state of a user would impact how patient or impatient they might be when interacting with the user's interface of the product. So if a user is using the particular application and it is loading for a long time, then they might be frustrated. So what we want to do is optimize the time, and what are we reducing the steps which the user might take in, how can we reduce the effort of the user, so that we can achieve the maximum user satisfaction. How can we achieve that? What are the steps that we need to take in order to achieve the full user satisfaction? How can we do that? So understanding the user is the key in order to create a successful design. Usability first. So here, the user experience design is completely focused on solving the users frustration, their pain points, their problems, and what makes and that is what makes this as a crucial and important point. So we need to first understand if it solves the user's problem. If a particular website is cluttered with a lot of information, or if there is a lot of contextual load, like there is a lot of information for the users to consume, then what happens is, obviously we'll lose the visitors for that website, and as a result, the business can will also decline its profits, and there we might uh, lead to a loss. So as a designer, our job is to make sure that each icon, button, and every information that we present within the design has to be within value, or it should serve a purpose, and we should also be able to justify the design that we make. Whatever design we create, we need to give valid points why we have made it in this way rather than the other way. So only by focusing on the clarity, and only by understanding the purpose why we have kept it in this way rather than the other way, we'll be able to bring in useful features for the users that might attract them to use the application, and we can retain the users on using the particular application. So less is more, in the sense, the uh, design it's the design principle that was proposed by an architect. For UX, here it means reducing the cognitive load of the users. So without overwhelming with a lot of information, Apple side gives less information with the proper usability and consistency. So it creates a clear and clean design for the users. Uh, Apple is an example which I've given here. So first we'll understand the UX design process, whatever I have covered in the UX principles. So if there is any doubt, you can ask me in the UX principles before we move ahead with UX design process.
No, ma'am, no doubts. You can proceed.
Okay, so UX design process is important for us to understand in order to proceed with the case study, and in order to understand how the case study will be uh, present. So first is understanding the problem. The problem statement will be given in the first for the case study. So when it comes to companies, how we'll work on the project. So if it's going to be a service company, there are two kinds of company. One is service company and product company. In service companies, what happens is we need to work on project wise. In product companies, what we'll be doing is we have to work on a particular product in that present in the company. So mostly that's how we work. And in uh, the service company, so the clients come in, the clients like you know Royal Enfield or SBI Life Insurance. Someone comes in, and what issue are they facing? Are they, for example, recently they came, Royal Enfield came, and what happened was their user retention rate was low. Not many people were using their mobile application, and they had to redesign the application. So that was a problem which they have given. So we need to first understand their problem. Why are the users leaving the application? What was the problem with the website? We need to understand the entire flow of the website first. So since it's an existing platform, we can go through the website once. So once we are going through, we can find out the issues. That is known as UX audit. So in the audit, we will be sorting out the UX issues, the UX positives, what are the positive points that they have, how the negative points can be made into positive, what design solution can we propose. That kind of analysis has to be done. In order to do that, first we need to understand the problem, then we need to understand the company's objectives or the goals. uh, what what kind of company is it, who are their competitors, and understanding also the project scope, like how many months project is it, it is weeks project or is it months project, how long is the scope going to be, are they expecting to redesign only the product detail page, in the sense, let me show you. So this is their website, and I'm clicking on motorcycles. It directs to this page. So this is the product listing page, and I click on this particular card, and it directs to the detail page. So this is the product detail page. Once I scroll, it shows the interaction. So are they having issues, any issues in the product detail page or in the listing page, and what is their scope of work? Like, we need to rework only on the listing page, or we need to work on both the listing and detail page, and even the about us page. So we need to check with the client what is the scope. So once we understand the scope, we can proceed with the value proposition, like what are the unique key propositions which the company has. Once we understand this, we can proceed with the research. So here in research, what happens is we need to first understand the who are the users for Royal Enfield. For Royal Enfield, it will be mostly bikers. Mm, like the gender will be mostly male. Even the clients can give you the data, or you can research on your own, or you can research with other users. How you can do is, you can do secondary research that will be online with the existing data available online, or you can do primary research, that is with the users directly or with the clients. And we need to understand about the target users, their problems with this research, and we can also understand their behavior and do the competitor analysis. Why competitor analysis is important is because we can understand how the competitors in the industry are performing and what kind of design inspiration can we derive from them, what kind of approaches can we take from them, uh, according to the needs of the clients. So even only in the first stage we can understand what the client is expecting, and in the second stage we can match the expectations and we can proceed with the design direction. So this is going to be the entire flow of the design. It's not just going to be about the design, but it's also going to involve understanding, research, analyzing. Only then we'll sketch. So we can't directly move to the fourth phase. So on the in the competitor analysis, what we'll be doing is what are the positives of a particular competitor, and what are the what is working with them, what is not working with them, and what can be improved. Once we are done with the competitor analysis, we can on a holistic view we can bring in what works, and we can try to incorporate in our Royal Enfield application. And with that we proceed with the user journey mapping. So user journey mapping is what the user will go through from one uh, one screen to next screen, what happens. So the entire flow of what the user will go through. If the user takes one direction, what he'll be landing on. If not, what the user will be landing on. That should be uh, handled in the user journey mapping. After that comes analyzing the user insights. So once we get the data from the research, we'll have the data and we'll curate the user insights. So how can we do this is by creating user personas. A persona is a target uh, target person, or the target audience. So for them we'll create a profile, something like uh, whatever includes in persona, their about them if it's necessary, and what they are currently doing, what is their motivation to do this particular thing, and what is their pain point, or what is hindering from achieving that particular uh, from achieving that goal which they have. And affinity mapping, where we can differentiate the uh, sticky notes. So some it's a kind of UX research process wherein we'll give the sticky notes to different people or the target audience. They We'll ask them to uh, write down in each sticky note, and then we'll try to group them. So you remember I showed you the information architecture earlier. So in that, if we want to add something, a nested menu in the a secondary menu in the primary menu, we need to understand, we need to group them. So in order to group them, we can give it separately to a particular user and ask them to group it. So once they group it, we can get an idea. So this is what the user is expecting to be. So with that we can do this affinity mapping. And empathy mapping is about it's not necessary that we need to do affinity empathy for each and every project, because it's just an addition, like it's just a bonus if we do, but if it's only required. Empathy maps involve, like, we need to empathize with the user, what the user is going through in each of the process while achieving a particular goal. Something like in Royal Enfield, they want to purchase a, a helmet. Then what the user will go through in each phase: first they land on home page, and on home page they'll click on a particular bike, and on bike the product detail page, they'll be able to see and where they can purchase the helmet. And after clicking on the helmet, it will get added to the cart, and from cart they'll proceed with the payment. And after payment, what happens is they'll be able to track where their product is. So this is the entire journey. So we need to empathize with the user, what the user will be going through. Will the user be happy with this process, or is it a confusing process, or how can we redefine this process which the user is going through? And with that, we can narrow down and prioritize the features. So with these information, we'll get a sufficient amount of information in order to proceed with the design. So for that, first we need to identify what features will be required in the scope of work. So we'll write down all the features with the which the users are interested in, and then we'll highlight the features whatever is utmost of important, like priority basis, what is most important, what is less priority, and what is optional. Based on that, we'll be prioritizing the features based on the user research, the stakeholder interview, the user interview. Based on these things, we'll be prioritizing the features. And after that comes the information architecture. Information architecture will be something like what I've mentioned earlier. It would be something like sitemap, like the menu, primary menu and secondary menu. That is one small example of information architecture. So once these information are done, we'll be ready to proceed with the paper sketch. We can do a rough wireframe. Once we do a rough wireframe of home page, we can do another variation of home page itself, so that we can validate it with the users, and if uh, we can understand if which design they prefer, and why they prefer that, and what are the features additionally they want. So how can we make these two variations is by uh, adding and by prioritizing the features. So what features they are expecting to have in one variation, and we can make it in two ways. One is by functionality wise, and another one is aesthetic wise. We can make the variations in these two ways. Functionality wise, we'll be working on the features, and aesthetic wise in UI. And once the wireframe is done, either in paper pen or digitally in Figma, once it's done, we can proceed with the UI mockup for the solution. So after the UI mockups are done, we can create the prototype of what happens when they click on next button in the onboarding screen, and whether they can skip the entire onboarding journey and land on the home page. And after the app is released with these processes, we can again test it with the user. We can iterate it, like we can create MVP2 and refine. So this is a continuous journey. This is the entire UX UI design process. Even UI is included in this. So it's not just about UX, it's also about UI. But in UI, we'll be having a few more processes before prototyping stage. That would be like mood board creation. But yeah, we'll see it in the later stages. But I think this is the foundation. This is the basics that we need to learn. And the research here is about understanding the users. So UX research involves user interviews. We can have a direct conversation with the target user. We can have a survey, like we can gather data from a larger audience. So if we need to collect data in a bigger sense, Then we can roll out the survey, like in Google form you can fill out the questions that whatever you have, whatever is mandatory to have, you can roll out in LinkedIn groups. Like we need to identify the target users and send to them, so that we can gather information in larger chunks. Next is contextual inquiry. That means we can observe the users in the environment, how they are behaving and what they are feeling of the particular experience. And here competitor analysis is again present, which is studying similar projects or products that is available online. Secondary research is what competitor analysis means. So for example, if we take Swiggy, then we have the competitor Zomato, and other Uber Eats and other kind of food delivery apps. So those are the competitors of Swiggy. In the similar way, each and every product might have a competitor. We need to study them, what are their positives and negatives, and how can we improve the experience. For the research, we might need the answers for who are our users, because that is primary, right? As I mentioned since the start, who are our users. And once we identify our users, we'll be uh, we'll have to figure out what are their goals, what are their needs, and how can we solve their uh, frustrations, and what kind of daily what kind of frequent or daily pain point they are facing, and how currently are they facing these kind of problems. So only with that kind of frequency we will be able to understand the depth of the particular problem which they are facing, right? And we'll also have to consider the context. Do they In what context do they use products in, like are they using it in a regular basis, or are they occasional users, or are they using the app for coupons only, because there are a few applications in which you can avail the coupons only, so there will be only occasional users for those kind of applications, right? So we need to understand the context, when do they use the particular app. So I'll also go through this link. So the first and foremost in the design process step in the design process is user research. So first we'll be researching uh, the users, like who this is the first and important basic step in UX UI design. So it is done in the start of the project, and there are different kinds of research methodologies that we can do. So in the during the user research, we have to engage with the target users. Like after identifying the target users, we'll be engaging with them. We'll be asking them asking them questions about their everyday day-to-day life in relevance to the particular application. We need to understand their requirements, how they are behaving, and what are the pain points in relation to the particular app that we are designing for. So we should never skip the research phase. Why? Because uh, that is what the user is really experiencing, that is the real user problem. So here, what is user research? User experience research. In this, what we are trying to do is that we'll be gathering insights from the uh, real users. How can we do this? by the help of user research techniques, we'll have to understand the users actual needs. And there are different kinds of research method. One would be qualitative UX research, and another would be quantitative UX research. So here, qualitative UX research involves more of what the user might think and what the user might feel. It's just about the user's ideas, the users, what the user is thinking, or what is the opinion of the user, what are the problems of the user, what reasons might be because of uh, using this particular application, and what are the motivations on using, how they can, because they'll also give some ideas on improving the application, right? So what are their motivations? So these comes under the qualitative UX research. And quantitative, in the sense, it's going to be based on the numerical value only. It can be measured and analyzed, something like the Google the Google forms you're circulating with the users, right? So once it's done, you can get a clear picture of the number of users who have answered this particular survey, and how many users are facing this kind of issue, how many are facing another kind of issue. You can get a numerical value for this. So you get the basic difference between qualitative and quantitative, right? In qualitative, it's going to be generic, like whatever the user is feeling, their opinions on the particular product, their motivations on using the product, their reasoning. It will be something like text, whatever they are feeling. It's not going to be a particular standard answer, unlike quantitative analysis. In quantitative UX research, it's going to be numerical value. For these kind of questions, who your users are, what their needs are, for these they'll be giving the answer in quantitative type only. What's the purpose of UX research? The purpose of UX research is to put a design project into context. So once the UX research is done, we can set a context, and by that we can understand who the users, who our users are, whom are we designing this particular app for, and what will they require from us. And keeping the user in mind, we can create a successful product or an application. So having done with the UX research can also help us in many ways. Something like we can find out what are the challenges that they are facing, and we can also validate whether our assumptions are true, are we solving the real users problem, and are we helping the user to achieve the target which they are aiming for. The end goal of the application is to make the users use the application, right? So once we get a better idea of what the user is uh, trying to see in the application, we can create a successful user experience. So this is about the UX research. And after getting the research work done, we'll be organizing the research findings into actionable insights. Once we get it through qualitative or quantitative analysis, after it's done, we can get the insights, right? The values or the information from the research. So those information we can organize it in user persona, like we can arrange the information on that. And why it's done is because we can get a clear understanding of the user expectations and pain points. So here, First we'll get the data in quantitative analysis. Once we get the data, we can summarize the data, we can arrange it, like each color of sticky note will be for a particular problem solving uh, project. Okay, so once we arrange it, we can find out the pattern across what is similar across different participants, and then we can create the insights of whatever the users are expecting on the whole, a holistic picture of the target audience, what they are expecting out of the application. And once we get that information, we can create it in a digestible format in the case study. So that's how we are doing the design research synthesis. So first we are getting the data from the users. Once we get, we are arranging it in different sticky notes. After that, it's not mandatory to do it in sticky notes, we can also do it in fig jam, or just write down a note. And after having those bits and papers of information, we can arrange it into insights, like paragraph insights, and then we can add it in the case study. So in the design phase, we can create the solutions. So here we'll have the tangible design solutions for testing something, like once the user flow or the information architecture is done, we can proceed with the wireframe and user interface. Then comes the prototyping. So testing phase involves again with the users. So here we'll be validating the designs to see whether have we designed it in a way that matches the user's requirement. And there are different ways how we can do the testing in this phase. It's not mandatory that we need to do every each and every method of testing, and it's not even necessary to do even one of the testing as well if the project is short. But in product companies, sometimes they might ask us to do testing because we'll be working on one particular project only for a longer period. So these are different methods to test, and with the help of testing, we can create the evidence based improvements. So we can also add that valuable improvements in our case study, and it weighs higher. Validation, it can be quantitative and qualitative again. In a quantitative or numerical terms, it's going to be the quantitative survey. A/B testing, like there will be two A or B testing, two variations. One is A and another variation is B. The design, two designs will be given, and the users has to select one. The majority of the users who opt for A or opt for B, that design will be selected. So we can measure it in terms of numerical value, so that comes in quantitative. Similarly for other methods, in qualitative we have usability testing. So we'll be engaging with the user in one-on-one, or we can even have a session directly, or with group interviews we can do that. And eye tracking, user feedback, the feedback can be given by the users, it will be elaborated and it can't be unified. We can unify it, but sometimes it might be different, it can't merge with one with other, right? One user's feedback will be different from other users feedback. This is qualitative. Implementation, so in implementation stage, what happens is we'll be handovering our design to the developer, and after creating the design system. So once the design system is created, we can hand off it to the developer, they'll code it and launch the product, and we can also test even after that. So the entire design thinking process, it's going to be iterative process. As I mentioned earlier, iterative process is a continuous process, like it goes on and on. The first stage is empathizing. Empathizing is putting yourself in the shoes of the users and thinking what they want and designing for their needs. We need to understand the user needs and we need to identify their core problem, and by identifying the challenges which they are facing, we can bring up the solutions by brainstorming with other designers, or we can brainstorm with the AI tools available online, or we can also do the research work, the research methods that I mentioned. We can do it in the ideation stage, and after ideation we can also do the user journey in order to get a better idea, and after that we can create a high fidelity wireframe. After wireframes we can move to the high fidelity wireframes, or the high fidelity mockups, and then again we'll be gathering the user feedback. So we'll go through this in the later stage, the UX research tools. So let's have a demonstration. I'll walk you through Zomato's current platform. They have this landing page. Currently, I've taken a screenshot of the Zomato landing page. In this, I have mentioned what is good, what is working for them, what they can improve. Okay. Here they are having a clear navigation, like they have delivery, quick, dining, and district. So each and every item is separated, and they have filled icon for delivery, meaning that it is selected currently, so the user is able to understand that he is in this stage. Once he click on quick, it gets filled icon, understanding that the user is in this page. So this is a clear navigation. So it's a good in terms of this. All the icons are separated with tabs, differentiation in the color, in the icon type, etc. The second point is they have the prominent search bar at the top along with the auto suggestion. Example, search sandwich. So it's guiding the users. When a user has no idea of what to search, it is suggesting that we need to search for sandwich. And if we are currently in this screen, it rolls over search biryani or something else. It helps us with auto suggestions. And the other kind of search which they are having is in the homepage itself is they are recommending a few of the things that we would like to eat. Auto suggestions. So these are some kind of auto suggestions which they are displaying, is also a good attribute. Visually appealing banners for offers and trending cuisines. So here the offers are mentioned, and they are also having the visually appealing banner for quick delivery in 10 minutes, showing that we need not wait for a longer period of time, we can quickly order. So it gives a better idea for us that the food order delivery can be handed over to us in 10 minutes. And they are also personalizing the content for us, something like restaurants for us, what we have recently ordered. This kind of personalization is also done. What can be improved, or what I think can be improved in this page, might be there is too much of information in the landing page itself. Like there is quick, there is great offers, and the contextual information can be reduced. uh, we are not sure of what district means, and we can reduce the information that are redundant, something like quick is mentioned over here in the banner and in the bottom navigation bar, so repeating it too many times might not be necessary. So the category images is also repeated, and we are not sure of this icon, what does that mean. So this is how we do the UX audit, that is identifying what works and what can be improved. So few of the other strengths and areas to improve I have jotted down. Continuation to the home page, we are having the strong visual appeal with a colorful illustration of a burger. So we are having this kind of illustration that mm, makes us order the food immediately. And we are also having the specific query example, which we have already seen, the search sandwich. And they're also giving the time estimate that this gets delivered in 30 to 35 minutes, and the prominent order now. So there is the contrast in the colors, the CTA button, and there is a good contrast of that if you check accessibility. And what can be improved is, once I click on search, it should show me the recent searches. And what I feel is the wedge mode is disconnected from the main interface. It's bit far. Wedge mode is bit far. It can be grouped together. And there are multi promotional elements, like there is flash sale, and there is quick delivery, and uh, I feel like there is too much of promotion over here. And the recommended, yeah, so it's suggesting that we need to scroll down. And there are also bookmarks. Yeah, now people are not much familiar with the bookmark, but they are familiar with the heart icon, which was used earlier. uh, it's blended along with the image. It can be made more clear with the heart icon. And even here the discount information, so even that overlaps the image. So placing icon or information upfront to the image might not be recommended in the UI. And coming to the restaurant listing screen, that is quick delivery screen, on this tab, what I feel is the cuisine category filters, they both represent text and image. So it's clear that we can understand it's North Indian, it's going to be this, and if it's biryani, it's going to be this. So it gives a clear idea of what each category means, along with the text and image. And also we can see the star rating, and it's showing the personalized ratings for us. We can enable it or we can disable it. And they are showing the upfront pricing. We can quickly select or deselect, making the user take a decision quickly. And also there are filter options, so there is sort option, great offers. So these options can help us to get a refined list of product listing in this screen. So that is great in this screen. And the delivery time estimate is also given here, 5 to 10 minutes in the quick delivery for within 10 minutes. So what can be explained, like what can be improved, is that we can show the personalized ratings in a different way, uh, because it is not easily understandable as a first time user. If you want, they can show, or they can remove it, but it's not recommended that they need to show the personalized ratings. And restaurant listing only shows one menu item. So there are varieties, but varieties we need to horizontally scroll. And instead of going with restaurant wise, I think going by food wise would be better. Other than that, I think rest of things is fine with this restaurant listing page. Here in district screen, we are having the nightlight imagery that is quite appealing. Yeah, good. And what is the clear USP which they have given is dining has a new home. So they are having the UX copy written well, and they are showing the featured venue in this image. And again they are having text over an image, which is not a good approach to take. They are having the filters even in this, that's nice to have. So in the limelight, so they are giving a heading for this section. So that gives an idea of the specific highlights in this venue, what is special about this. So they are showing what is trending something, what is uh, what most of the people prefer, what is popular among the locality, something like that. They are showing it as a special place. They are giving the category heading for each section. And what can be improved in this is the purpose of district with regular dining isn't immediately clear. So even they have immediate dining, and they are having district, but we are not sure whether we are in district or in dining, because dining is selected and it shows district. And search box changes to search locations rather than being food focused. So we are not able to get we are not able to search food, rather we need to search for location. It's a bit of confusion. And we are not sure why map is floating along with other elements, because this is not a good approach. We have never seen any kind of floating in between the text disconnected from other elements. It can be here, like what we have seen earlier in the the floating action bar which we have seen in Gmail or Twitter, that will be in the uh, bottom right corner, but it's in the center, and we are not sure why. Why is this map important? Why is this location important? Why don't people search for food in dining? because that's the major purpose of this application, right? So I feel that could be improved. And the pagination dots doesn't clearly indicate how many venues are featured, so we have to count. 1 2 3 4 5 venues are featured. They can have 1/5 along with this pagination icon. These dots, along with these dots itself, they can have a number. So I think these are the areas where there could be improvement. So sample case study, I can walk you through a sample case study, but before that, let's get on hands-on activity. So I want you guys to work on and pick an application that is your favorite. You can analyze the UX and UI aspects, same like what I did. What works well, what can be improved. Is it more UX focused or is it more UI focused? You can do this in FigJam or whatever tool you prefer in Figma as well. Uh, Within Figma itself, you have FigJam. If you can see, so you can start with the template as well. So can you guys start doing with this hands-on activity for now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then please go ahead and you can share your screen in 20 minutes. You can take 2 3 screens and work on what works in that particular page and what can be improved. You can do it in place a screenshot of that application, do that, and you can present it. So shall I ask you guys to present at 8 p.m.? You can start working now. I think 8 p.m. is fine, right?
Yes, ma'am.